Go back to what Coach said. I want to make sure I got it right.
Yes, sir.
Moved you to guard the first play of overtime?
Yes, sir. It did.
What was that like? You're center, all of a sudden, ooh, I got to play guard?
Yeah, so that was a little crazy because at that point it had been maybe 3 months since I'd taken a rep at left guard, and Deontay Bowie, who played a great game, I think like Coach said, literally on the last play of the game, he went down with a shoulder, and it was kind of between, you either move another left guard up, which we were a little short on depth with, or, you bump up the next center and move me over to left guard. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of a cool feeling to know that they trusted me to do that. It all happened so fast. We got over to the sideline and it was cool. You're going to go to guard, and didn't think much of it in the moment. Was just kind of like, wow, that's like a surprise, but let's go do it. At that point, it was whatever it took to win, and so it was an adjustment. It was really cool, and we got the job done.
You never ask an offensive line if he's playing hurt because he's always playing hurt.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
What's the worst injury you had, and how'd you deal with it?
So that'd be my freshman year. I had a pretty nasty ankle injury in the second quarter of my spring game, first spring game ever. I tore 3 ligaments in my ankle, and I had a slight fracture on my fibula. That was probably the worst one I've ever had to go through. And then you asked about how I went through it and kind of what that was like. It was kind of a shock at first because that was the first time really in my entire career that I had dealt with an injury that put me out for an extended period of time. I had never had a surgery before. I'd never been told by a doctor that I might need surgery. And that following morning when we got all the scans done, they kind of told me, you're going to need to get surgery. It's going to be about 4 to 5 months before you're back. And it was a blow at first, kind of like, man, because I thought I had a really good spring. I was really happy with where I was at. And for it to kind of happen in the spring game was really disappointing. But I had a really good support group around me between my family, my coaches, my friends. And, we got through it. The surgery went flawless. Rehab, every day it can get really, really monotonous at times because you're in there essentially doing the same thing every day because you have to get those movements in. But just through my support group and kind of just, my mindset through the whole thing, it all worked itself out, and I was fortunate to be back and cleared by that following fall camp.
When you talk to a center in the NFL, he's got to call the protections and the slides.
Yes,
is it the same in college?
Yes, sir. It is.
What's your key? Is it the mic?
Yeah, so a lot of it changes play to play. So it really depends on who we're playing that week. Like we carry, we have a lot of plays, and we have what's called an install. So you go in every week with an install, and it could be 20 of your plays in your playbook. But every week, depending on who they are and what their tendencies are, our rules will be different. So as a center, especially in this offense, you really have to be keyed in because you might have a rule one week, and the next week the rule is completely flipped. So there's some weeks in a lot of our gap scheme where it'll all be off of the B backer. Like if the B backer's up in the box, we do what's called a cage, where it's essentially the center climbing up to him. But if he's out of the box, it's basically a back block and everyone gets back. So it's definitely a lot. Rules are changing and flying all the time. And there's even a lot of times in games where you go in with a plan and they bring something that you didn't necessarily expect, and you have to, change on the fly, like literally in between drives. So it's pretty much what it looks like. You walk up to the ball, you get a call, whether it's a protection or a run, and then you have to make a call. And when the call that the center makes lets everyone around you know what they're doing. I think we do a really good job of keeping them simple and small words, where one word could mean 100 different things for all 5 guys on the line.
So playing Tulane is a whole different animal than playing Navy.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.